Hi, Mike. Thanks for being here. What can you tell us about API management solutions and what we have to offer at Azure?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Before I address that question, let me take a step back and talk about why we are talking about APIs today. So in the recent years, we've seen a proliferation of client applications and client devices. And of course, these are web applications, mobile applications, tablet applications, but also connected experiences like smartwatches, smart fridges, smart speakers, etc. And the proliferation of client applications and client devices led to proliferation of the backend services and data services that fulfilled certain business logic. And there is a disconnect between these two layers, and APIs are the most common communication protocol for connected experiences and backend services and data services. So all the communication, most of the communication between these two layers happens through APIs. And that proliferation of APIs led to a problem around how can we manage all these APIs that we now have. And that prompted creation or proliferation of API management solutions. In general, API management solutions fulfill three different roles. First, API management solutions act as a facade. You can think of them as a wall in front of your backend services, and all the client applications and connected experiences and client devices see is just this wall, and they don't see the backend services. And this is a very powerful concept because it allows you to decouple the lifecycle of the backend services from the lifecycle of the API surface. So you can release the backend services every day or every week, and you can change the API surface only once a year. It also allows you to slice the backend services into microservices. So in case you have monolithic services, you can also aggregate microservices into more monolithic services. So that's a very, very powerful concept to have that wall in front of your backend services. The second role that API management solutions fulfill is the front door. When you have this wall, there is a door inside this wall, and all the API requests and responses go through this door. And that allows you, as an owner of the API management platform, to observe all the traffic that goes between the client applications and the backend services, including requests and responses. And because you have access to all that traffic, you can manipulate it. So for example, you can set authentication and authorization policies to reject requests that aren't authenticated or aren't allowed to access certain data. You can also transform the requests. You can convert them from XML to JSON. You can accelerate the requests with caching, etc. And also you can monitor and observe all the requests and see if there are any errors, if there are any problems, and monitor the usage of your APIs. And the third role that those platforms fulfill is the frictionless consumption. So once you have all these APIs, could be just a few of them or could be thousands of them, you may want to publish those APIs to API consumers, application developers, so they can start building applications that rely on those APIs. And those application developers could be people within your own company, or it could be your partners, or it could be the general internet, general public that will be interested in using the APIs. And the platforms allow this consumption by creating self-serve onboarding experiences for API consumers. So it's very common that in the past, for example, if you had a partner that wanted to use your APIs, you would onboard that partner manually for a series of manual steps that, for example, start with an email, and then you give them access or credentials, and then they use those credentials, etc. So that's a very involved process. Nowadays, those partners can just go to a website and get the access automatically to all the APIs that you have, or just certain APIs. Azure API Management is an API management solution inside the Azure ecosystem. It consists of three main components. The component that's in the top right corner is the management plane. It's exposed as an API, just like in all other Azure services. And you typically interact with it through Azure Portal, Visual Studio Code Extension, Azure CLI, PowerShell, or Client SDKs. This is the component where you as an API provider can configure all the APIs, can configure the service, monitoring, private networking, and all the other actions. The component to the bottom of it, the API gateway, is that door that we talked about. It serves all the API requests and responses from the client applications to the backend services. The backend services could be anywhere. They could be hosted in Azure, they could be hosted on premises, or they could be hosted on other clouds. It doesn't really matter what kind of technology they're implemented in. There could be serverless, there could be microservices, there could be monolithic services. As long as they're exposed for HTTP endpoints, we are all good. And then the component in the top left corner is the developer portal. Developer portal allows API consumers to discover the APIs, learn how to use them, browse the API reference pages, test the APIs through the test console built into the website, create accounts, request access, and analyze the usage of the APIs. And when we talk about APIs, typically APIs go through several API lifecycle stages. The stages that we identify are the design, development, securing, publishing, scaling, monitoring, analyzing, and the circle never ends as long as the API evolves. API Management Platform assists you with all of this as API lifecycle stages. So we do offer a lot of capabilities for every stage of the API lifecycle. And today, specifically, in the next 3 segments, we'll talk about API development and design. Then we'll talk about publishing the APIs to the developer portal. In the last third segment, we'll talk about monitoring and analyzing the API traffic in Azure API Management.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mike. This has been great, and I appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you later.
Yeah, thank you very much.